and welcome back to HCS Weekly.
I felt like, yo, this is my life. I have to go pro in Halo.
In my head, thought that was more efficient, and I guess I was right.
He was like the god. We would have to 2v1 like just to beat this guy. Like
I don't know, man. I don't know. You're like, oh, see you guys later.
A lot of Halo in my life, man. It's been a fun journey.
I love it. Hello and welcome back to HCS Weekly, your weekly destination for all things HCS. I'm your host, ShyWay, and yes, we got more news, we got more trick jumps, and we have yet another interview with one of the top players in Europe this time, which is great to see. So, of course, we just had Face It last weekend. Hopefully you guys got a chance to check that out, taking place in the Wembley Stadium, a pretty awesome event to behold. We're going to talk a little bit about that event going into the interview later, but we also have some great giveaways to talk about today. Also, we have the Grassroots skin, as always, guys, ! Grassroots in the chat. You get your chance to win the Grassroots skin. We have that every single episode, so you can come back if you don't get it this time. We also are going to announce the winners of the hotel sweepstakes contest. Remember, one team got a chance to win 2 hotel rooms for their squad, and they basically get free pass. They can chill the whole weekend for free there. So that's a great competition that we're going to announce the winners for at the very end of this interview as well. So stick around for that. Before we get into the interview, let's find out our news though with MattyRums from DudeCombo.com. How's it going, Matty? Matty, you muted yourself. You're on your own rules.
There we go.
We're all scrambling here. We got 10 seconds. Remember, we got to mute your bikes.
Yeah.
Then you muted yourself. What's up, Matty? How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Not much. Always the intro. I'm like trying to figure out what I got to say, and then as it goes, you get more comfortable. And here we go. We got the news now. We've got MCC mini development update. What's this?
Yeah. So I guess since Postum was catching a lot of flack about the last development update for Reach and MCC, he's posting like mini updates. If you follow him on Twitter, he's been like keeping up to date almost every day.
Awesome.
But he posted a mini update based off of the last development update, and the blocking bugs that we mentioned last time that were blocking it from passing Ring 2, I believe, have been fixed. So the problems that were preventing it from moving on were fixed, and they're making progress. That's for the firefight flight.
Which is the Firefly, yeah, which is what I care to hear. I mean, I don't really know what any of that means, the blocking bugs and passing Ring 2, which sounds like a call out on the map Refuge. But as long as they're making progress, and the fact that they have somebody giving mini development updates is something to keep us satiated, to like keep us going. So that's nice to see. Hopefully they can continue, on that trajectory. We can get this game sooner rather than later, because a lot of people are just posting on Twitter saying like they shouldn't have talked about it as early as they did, because we're still not seeing it, and we thought we'd be seeing it by now. So good to see that there's updates. What's this current spec thing you've got under here? You've got these. Yeah.
So he also included in the post that even though the firefight flight hasn't been put out yet, they're also making progress on the following flight, which is the PvP flight. So he said currently what they're scheduling to be in that flight is social matches, 2v2 Slayer, 4v4 Slayer, Action Sack, 8v8, Slayer, Flag Bomb, Zone Control, Asset Denial. So he just released some of that. And then for competitive, we're going to have Team Hardcore Slayer and Capture the Flag on the Countdown and Zealot maps.
Yeah.
Zealot. And then Invasion on Breakpoint. So just a little bit of foresight.
They put Invasion under the competitive heading?
Yeah. Well, I think because it's going to be ranked.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But for all we know, it's just tentatively scheduled. It could change.
Yeah. It's just something for us to play and try out. And so we're going to be all over the competitive Team Hardcore for sure. But we also have the Draft League announcement as well. So we're going to move on into some of our upcoming events here. Let's kick it off with Draft League.
Yeah, they announced their autumn season. So they're changing it up a little bit. They're having a new league that they're calling the Premier League. And it's only going to be 8 teams, but it's teams that have been pre-formed, going in. So players pick their teams, they can sign up. They're playing for 10 weeks on Thursdays and Saturdays. It's $25 a team, and they're going to have a $500 prize pool, which is new. Usually before they didn't have money.
Right.
But then they're also going to have the regular draft league, but it'll only be made up of 8 teams and 5 players on each. They're going to play for 8 weeks on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. $200 prize pool, and you can register for it on September 9th.
Yeah. So, I mean, awesome work from Halo Draft League. Like you said, they weren't offering money previously, so now they're actually having some prize pools here. They've got a great schedule going forward with the events as well. I know a lot of people tuned in for the very end of the last Draft League season. People are excited to get back into it. I know top players like Denoxide, some of the H5 people who've been grinding might actually be jumping into here as well, which would make it pretty exciting. So something to keep tabs on, and great that they're still doing this. It's nice that we still at least have some sort of an observer mode for that game, because that's my biggest issue with Halo 3 is I wish we could have something like this, these online events, and then you can cast them and you can grow a bit of a community around them with Halo 3. But for now, we'll stick with what we got. Live.halo.gg just got announced, and I love this website. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so it's an extension of the Halo esports site, halo.gg. On it, you can view Grassroots Partners live streams and also check out their VODs, video on demand. They also said that if there's no one streaming or there's a community content tab, I believe, they're also going to highlight YouTube content from Grassroots Partners as well as other content creators, which is cool. So it gets some brand recognition to some other people. Which
they are already highlighting. So you can click the content creator tab right off the homepage. The opening page will show the live stream, and then right underneath you click content creation, and you get all everybody's YouTube videos basically, and they organize it by category. The Up Your Game category is 99%, or not 99. Most of it is my stuff right now. So basically, guys, get where are your Up Your Game videos? I'm the only one who's making tutorial videos in Halo right now. Come on. No, but there's some great stuff on there. All the gameplay, you can see everybody's content on the website, which is good to see. We have the Halo Classic Handbook as well.
Yeah, UGC, excuse me. UGC announced or released the handbook on their Twitter. It's got all the information you need from about the Halo Classic in Atlantic City. It has the event schedule, it has travel information, stream times, stream links. I think there's going to be 6 streams.
Okay. And
player code of conduct and some more stuff. But you can read the whole thing over at UGC events on Twitter.
Awesome. You can keep up with Halo Classic, which is coming very soon now, just a couple of weeks.
Few weeks.
Flying by. The talent has been announced. I'm not sure if it's everybody yet, but quite a lot of talent.
Yeah, it's been a lot since last week. So commentators, we have Elamite, Trooper, Bravo, Spaceman, Throoper, and Golden Boy.
Right.
Analysts, we also have Elamite doing double duty, and
should be Clutch. You don't
but we already announced Clutch.
Oh, okay. So this
is since
last week.
Yeah.
Okay,
so Elamite will be analyzing as well as yourself.
Yep.
Observing will be Hines, and our stage host will be Fallout.
Yeah, which I can't wait for. It's going to be so much fun, man. I just can't wait to be back on the desk and just to be surrounded by all of it again. So it's going to be great. Hopefully I get to commentate something too. I'm not really sure how that's going to go down, but excited to have a role here. Just a couple weeks away. We also have Lux Gaming with the Halo Classic roster. So speaking of Halo Classic coming up, we got a new roster coming in from Lux.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise to me because it's made up of Gilkey, Ryanoob, Goofy, and Gabriel. So I'm guessing Gabriel's feeling better because he had previously announced that he wasn't going to go because of his arthritis.
Right.
So I guess he feels better. It's cool to see that they're still an org, putting in the time.
Yeah, something with that issue is I feel like it's always going to bother him, but if he's taking breaks and he's stretching and he's kind of working around it, he should hopefully be able to be in a condition where he's healed enough to compete for the tournament. So I assume if he just, I don't really know the issue 100%, but hopefully if he takes care of himself, then he's going to be in good standing come September. We also have the file share migration reminder, guys. We've been talking about this the last couple of weeks. You can send, or you can put your clips, your game types into the file share in Halo 3 on your Xbox 360. They will take them and port them over to MCC on PC.
Yeah, so game types were copied over on the 12th, but next Monday, August 26th, will be all the user-generated maps. And again, that's maps from Halo 3, Halo Reach, and Halo 4. Nice. So anything that's on your file share will be copied over automatically, and we'll be able to access it once it's released on PC.
So for everybody who misses those good old days of custom games, you can relive those experiences day one, hopefully, when everything kicks off on PC. The Beachland has some tournament results as well. We got a couple tournament results here.
Yeah, first place was Patch and Legend.
Of course.
They reclaimed the throne.
Now I understand. When I look at it, I'm like, oh, I know these guys. This is the expected winners, and then Jones and McDick, right?
Yeah, Jones and McDick took second. Third place was Doughboy and Reepichu.
Nice.
It was interesting because Jones and McDick, Patch and Legend were the champions. Jones and McDick took them out last year.
Right.
And now Patch and Legend reclaimed it.
Right.
So, I'm sure there's a lot of trash talk going on.
I'm sure. We also have Blam Gaming Halo series.
Yeah, their preliminary one took place. First place was Pyretic and Demons. Second was Scariotic and Critty. And third place was Guitar Hero Dude and Gold Star BR.
Nice. Now, of course, the event that everybody was hopefully watching over the weekend, Face It Ignite, has its results as well.
Yeah, I was up at 5 a.m.
So it started at 5 a.m., right? That was the biggest.
I'm on East Coast time, but yeah,
right.
I was up then.
Yeah, man. It's like I'm looking forward to the event, and then I forget, dude, it's in Europe. So, of course, it's not going to take place during like normal times for events, at least where I'm at. Mm-hmm. So it finished by like 2:30 p.m. It's over, and this is like, some people are just waking up a couple hours before that. So a little unfortunate timing-wise, but what do we got for results here?
First place went to Tox Gaming, which was Snakebite, APG, Ace, and Snipe Down. Mm-hmm. Royal 2 and Lethal couldn't make it, so Ace and Snipe Down were picked up.
Pretty good swap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Second place was RBL Esports, Respectful, Moe's, Snipe Drone, and Hollers.
Yep.
And then third place went to Mazer Gaming, Flames, Havoc, Snakey, and Fusion.
Yeah, so really great event overall. Tox was kind of just running through everybody they went up against, and we were thinking it was going to continue in grand finals, but thankfully grand finals had some contention. It went back and forth for a while.
It was exciting.
Close. It was actually an exciting grand final, so it was nice to see that things picked up at the end. But man, Tox was just like plowing through the opposition for a bit there, so really, really cool to see. But yeah, great to see some contention in the final match. We have some upcoming tournaments now.
Yeah, Saturday is pretty stacked. Saturday, August 24th. If you're in Ames or near Ames, Iowa, there's the Midwest Esports Halo 3 2v2 at the Next Level Expo. If you're in Toronto, Canada, you have GT Halo's Body Count Halo 5 2v2 at Landlord Center.
Yep.
Yeah. Next weekend, this weekend.
This Saturday, the 24th, which is, yeah.
And then online, we have the SWAT Nation Bear Zone SWAT $1,000 Halo 5 4v4.
Wow. Okay.
I believe they just picked the teams for it because I think they were drafted.
Nice.
And then we also have the final Halo Classic qualifier on Saturday. On Sunday, August 25th, we have the Female Pro League Halo 5 4v4.
Right, which is the $1,000 one you just spoke of, or is that something else?
No, the SWAT Nation is $1,000.
SWAT Nation. Oh, sorry. And then Female Pro League is
Female Pro League, I believe, is $200.
Okay. Great. Well, so many different, local events happening, ways to earn money to continue to compete, even if you're not going to the big ones and you're kind of just waiting around for, Halo Infinite and MCC PC. There's still stuff to do and it's still Halo to play. So, Matty, thank you so much for the updates. Of course, guys, if you want more information on this, you can go to newcombo.com. He's got all of this on his website in organized fashion. And thank you for joining me once again. I'll see you again next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
No problem. All right, that closes our news. Let's take a look at our trick jump for the week, see what ClearlyMe has cooking. What's up, Clearly?
What's going on, man?
Not much. So we talked about your speed running. Now apparently you hit the world record for your Halo 2 speed running. How you been, man? You've been throwing up some great clips on Twitter recently.
I've been good, man. That Halo 2 speed run was a grind, man. I have about maybe 800 or 900 attempts.
Oh my God!
To get that time, yeah, man, that was intense. But I topped out the leaderboard at 48 seconds for that mission on Legendary.
If you guys haven't seen it, I recommend checking out MCC Trick Jumps on Twitter. And then you're using sticky nades to launch yourself over like a mountain, and that's just kind of part of it. But just the launch that you get off those nades is pretty incredible. And then I guess knowing the specific spots to land. I'm assuming if you're just a couple like millimeters, I don't know how close it has to be, but you'll miss it or you'll die or whatever.
Yeah. There's a ton of spots on that mountain where you can't physically stand.
Right.
very few spots where you can, and you have to make sure you hit it with the right momentum, or else it'll slide you off. Or
I don't know how
push
you
to
figure
the
that
left.
stuff out.
But yeah, there's the timing, man. Is every little movement that I do in that 48-second run is completely premeditated and precise. And I don't know how anybody could optimize it faster than that. I don't know.
That's what they say. Just give them a couple months, and we'll see what happens. Somebody's gonna turn the game upside down.
If somebody does, man, then I'm gonna have to go back at it again.
Yeah.
I'll get to keep that number one spot.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, you've got some more sick jumps for me. What do we got this week?
I got a icicle jump on narrows, and I actually have a little clip in matchmaking. Nothing crazy, but I jump off the icicle here, get up here, and I have this guy walking around that obviously has no idea where the hell I am, and I backsmack him there. The icicles on this map, they do not regenerate. They only spawn once. So
once
one
shot.
Use them, that's it. They tend to fall better when you're using single shot weapons. You can use a BR, but you have to kind of spread your BR shots to make sure only one bullet hits it, or else the icicle explodes.
Oh wow!
So preferably you have to use a sniper or a magnum. In this case, I used a magnum and got up into that little, nook up there that nobody tends to look at and use it to my advantage. But the timing is actually fairly easy with this one. If you do get it down, it's awkward at first, but once you take a couple stabs at shooting and jumping at it, you gain a lot of knowledge on how the icicle falls, when you should jump, and it's really easy.
What do you think of this as like a movement concept, like the ability to shoot down specific structures that you can then jump off of? I think that creates interesting skill gap, because it's difficult to do a maneuver like this. Like you said, you only get the one chance. There's only one icicle there. Can they have objects like this in future Halo games that you can interact with in such a way? I feel like that might.
I would sure hope so, man, because this is the type of stuff I live to do. And I hope Halo Infinite does have some stuff like that to offer for me.
Because, like a really cool and unique way, and that's done without any fancy abilities, and it's, providing an advantage in the movement category. So really interesting, and I wonder if they can do something like that. But I love it, man. Hopefully somebody can try to apply this in a competitive match. You said with the BR, it's kind of hard to get it done. You got to, like, swipe it properly, hit one bullet.
Yeah, because, BR is 3 shots, so if sometimes when you hit it with 2 of the 3, the icicle won't explode, but in most cases and not, it will. So you have to kind of spread your BR across the icicle to try to make sure only one bullet from the BR hits it.
Damn.
So it makes it a lot more difficult.
It's a surgical procedure. Well, you got it done. You guys have seen it here, and if you want to figure out how to do it, there's more places that you can join the trick jumping community. Where can they go?
So if you want to see all my trick jumping tutorials, clips, content in general, I'm going to be at youtube.com/MCCTrickJumps and Twitter at MCCTrickJumps. I also recently started streaming, and I'm doing live tutorials, things of that nature, so stay tuned for that. Perfect. I also have a dedicated Discord server completely made for the trick jumping community, which I will link in Twitch after my segment is over, and also on Mixer. So there we have a kind of a set of challenges that you can do and build up your trick jumping expertise, and a lot of other OG players that you can speak to and ask questions with along with me. So a good place to be if this is the type of stuff that interests you.
Hell yeah. It's a great way to level up your game, guys. So make sure to check that out if you want to get into trick jumping. Clearly, thank you so much for joining me once again, and looking forward to seeing what you got next week.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. All right, and that's it for our news and our trick jump of today's show. I'm excited to bring on our guest for today's interview. He's one of the top players in Europe currently. Welcome, Respectful, to the live stream. How's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Nice to see you, dude. How are you feeling right now? Are you happy kind of coming back? Like, you must be relaxed now, but you're second place for the event. I know you wanted first, but how do you feel kind of coming off of Face It right now?
Coming off Face It, I'm not really happy about getting second place. Obviously, nobody wants to be runners-up kind of thing, but
right.
I feel like we could have closed some of the games out and probably taken Tox to the second best of 7, and I don't know what would have happened there. But I can't be too disappointed with the way we played, but at the same time, I wish we could have done better. So I'm kind of in like a kind of neutral state at the moment. So not bad, not good. It's just a kind of a neutral.
Yeah, I feel like you put yourself in this spot where you're like definitively, at least from what I saw, you guys were the best European team there. You know what I mean? You beat all the local competition. The big boss was Talks, and I assume that's what the big boss was even from the get-go. But like, I think hopefully in your mind you're like, okay, the worst placing I want is second, and the best I could do is to win it. So you're like, all right, I at least achieved that hurdle, but I still didn't get the ultimate goal, ultimate victory. Yeah, man. So we got a lot of Halo to talk about. I'd like to go all the way back to the beginning of your career as well and just figure out how you got into it all. But what I also love to do is just kind of get to know you a little and talk about some utter nonsense for about like 10 minutes or so. So I looked at your Twitter. The very first thing I noticed on your Twitter that raised some questions was your banner is a samurai sword, which is what's this all about? Are you?
I mean, you're gonna really know the story behind this. I was just kind of Googling because before I changed that header, obviously I was on straight ripping at the time. Right. So we had the straight ripping header, like Brandon Stone's respectful, like play for straight ripping, and I've always kind of been into like Japanese culture sort of thing, and I just really like samurai swords. I want one for myself. Like I don't know why, I just think they're cool.
No, they're badass.
Obviously, back on Halo 3, 360, like I used to have the katana on my Spartan kind of thing, running around. I've just really liked them. So it's not too deep, but I'm just into them. I think they're cool. I think they're a piece of art, really.
Yeah, definitely. Like you just put them up on the wall and
for sure.
Yeah, which makes me also think, how have they not recreated Hayabusa? Did they not they never made an armor that had a sword on the back since that one in Halo 3, did they?
No, and that's quite sad actually, because like you could be running around on
So, no, I was saying like that's like the best. Like everybody loves that armor. I'm pretty sure that's like definitively like the favorite Halo.
The way to get it. Do you remember? You had to get was it all 49 achievements? The original 49 achievements on Halo 3 360. So
there's like the Zero Gamerscore ones too. That was like
that
ridiculous.
Was a grind.
Yeah, man. So I can't believe they didn't bring that back. That would be a great, if you want to get the fans on board, make a Halo Infinite Hayabusa armor with the actual like sword on the back. I think that'd be badass. So the other thing I got to talk about, that it's not a Halo question as well, but man, your hairstyle, we got to talk about it because you got to be one of the most stylish Halo pros out of all the pros. Like your hairstyle is the most unique, but it went through a transition. So let's take a look at where it began because I have a photo. Here it was back. No. This is like 2016, 2015.
2016, yeah.
I'm getting like maybe you listen to like some metal or punk music, maybe like kind of like a scene kid vibe.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah. I've always been about them vibes. So I'm kind of like I listen to my scene stuff still, but then I've got a complete other side of me. Like I'll go like hard hip hop. And then I'll go from that to some like absolute just jazz, I've got music for every kind of like mood I'm in, every way I feel, like every day. I need it specific to like how I'm feeling that day, but I definitely like to change it up.
I feel like your hair is a good like example of that. Like it kind of started as like the scene kid thing, but then you kind of you gained some flavor as you got older, and now it's like wavy. You got some curls in it. How do you do it? How do you put it together? Is it just like that, or I'm sure it's a very special cut, right?
It's definitely not like that. So I've got a hairdryer, the little diffuser that you have on the hairdryers, the little attachment that goes on the end. So I'll dry my hair with that, and that'll add like more curls, waves, and texture. And then I have all these kind of like products I'll put in, so like curl cream and stuff like that, and it just adds like, because my hair's actually naturally really straight. As you can see in that photo, is really straight, and I was just bored of it, I was like, I want to jazz things up a bit, like add some like crazy stuff, so I started doing that, and probably I've been doing that since 2017 now, so that's a good like 2 years I've been like just experimenting and just doing crazy things.
Damn. Yeah, I had to know. I feel like a lot of people ask that question, like, like Respectful has that one unique hairstyle. For me though, I can't get rid of the curls. Like my hair is always curl. I have to do the opposite. I have to I had a phase like 2 years ago where I always straighten my hair, and I would take like the blow dryer and the hairbrush, and I would have to like it would take me like another 10-15 minutes, and eventually I was just like, screw it, man, I'm a curly hair guy, like just let it be.
So it's like polar opposites, right? So you wanted your hair straight, I wanted my hair curly. Right. It's like the grass is always greener on the other side kind of thing, right?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. So in other news on your Twitter, you also you're convinced that humans are all NPCs. What's this tweet? So I'm convinced most humans in public are just NPCs. What is this all about?
So I'm just kind of like out shopping, you know, like just in the store, just getting some groceries, like some food to cook for the day, kind of thing.
Right.
And I just feel like some human beings are exactly the same. So like their behavior is like replicated. So like for instance, one guy will be doing the exact same thing as a completely like random guy the next day. So you know, like on GTA, like the NPCs are like, "Yo, bro, like what's up, bro?" Like on the street, and then like you'll get that same line of dialogue like 10 minutes later down the street again. So, and that's what like life is like being encapsulated to me at the moment. So I'm just like, nah, I'm in some simulation or something. Like this isn't real. Like,
I think you're onto something, man. Have you ever seen the Truman Show before?
Yeah, I love that film.
Yeah, I think you're living life in like a dome.
Oh,
and
dude, don't say
people are
that.
going through the same actions over and over. You start to see patterns. And then
we actually watched that. We rewatched that film at the Straight Ripping House. Actually, that was quite funny. Yeah, we all just sat down in the house and watched that film again because Sniper, my teammate, it's one of his favorite films too. So it's cool.
Nice. Yeah, I do get that feeling too, though. Even just kind of on the subway, you're just looking around at just how different and weird and unique just like people are. I don't know. This is just a weird moment, but I'm like, dude, like, what? I don't know. These sound like some
more to it. There is
introspective stoner questions right now that we're asking, but. The other thing, now this is more, we're going to shift gears to gaming, more gaming stuff. You got a new SCUF controller that you showcased recently, which looks beautiful. Do you have it with you?
I do have it with me, but I am not using it at this current time. And the reason for that is because I had the Face It event that recently come up. So I didn't want to kind of get used to the new style of SCUF because I have, you know, the old SCUF.
This is what I want to talk about. Yeah.
So I have the old style, and I had an event. I got it probably a week and a half, 2 weeks before the event. So I didn't want to go through like a drastic change just straight before the event because obviously on the new SCUF the grips are different, the weight's different. Yep. The paddles, the biggest thing, the paddles, like the more ergonomic, They look a lot better. They do look a lot better, and I am excited to use it. But I just didn't want to like risk it too early before my event, so I stuck to my old SCUF. But I am tempted now. Now, obviously, that's out of the way. But then, the next event UGC is only around the corner too. So I'm in two minds about that. Do I use it? Do I not? Do I wait till it's finished? So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet, but definitely gonna come up with a decision in the next few days.
Yeah, and like after looking at the fact that you had the SCUF, I was like, oh, this is a cool talking point. And then I was like, wait a second, I remember him playing on like some sort of white controller. I did some research, and not only are you playing on a different SCUF, you have control freaks on your control stick. So you have a very unique style of play, and you're actually an advocate for control freaks. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. If you could just show the controller and kind of how it all works out, because this is a pretty unique setup here. This looks sick, by the way.
Well, for instance,
like a special edition MLG, by the way.
Yeah, I've got like 3 of these controllers.
Sick.
So what's crazy about this is, right, so you can see these thumbsticks are completely different, right? They're from like different sets. So I got 2 of the large thumbsticks, and then this one come with like a slightly larger one. But I realized that I don't like the thumbsticks to be the same size. I think I'd like the left one, the movement stick, always to be slightly shorter than the aiming stick. So I have like 2 different. So I use this. This is like a Control Freak, like World War II Call of Duty Heritage one on the left for the lower stick, and then the right one's from a different pack, which is a Control Freak Ultra. So I've like mixed and matched them together to my specifics. It is very strange. Like I always wonder, if somebody was to steal my Control Freaks from me at a Halo event, like what would I do?
Oh, really? It's that? Yeah, you're so used to it now.
It's crazy. So I've been using these since like 2012, at least 2012. So that's 7 years, man. Of like different. I've tried and tested various ones, So I'll go to an event and I literally have like 3 packs of spares just all on me. Just in case, because you never know what's gonna happen.
This is making me think of the Smash Pro Mewtwo King. Have you heard of Mewtwo King from Melee?
Yeah, I have.
He brings a box of GameCube controllers every time he goes to an event, so he always has a spare ready in case something like breaks down. But so why is it though the control freaks, like what about them like makes you think that they're like the kind of better for aiming and whatnot? What feels more comfortable?
I just feel like you have more range of movement, like for real, especially with weapons like a sniper. It might sound cliche, but having more range of movements than a sniper it means a lot. And I mean, that's just me saying it, but I'm pretty sure there's like scientific, like actual facts to back it up as well.
Yeah.
So, like, I just kind of thought it was, a gimmick. It's a scam. It's a waste of money. But I actually won some in a giveaway, back in 2012 on. So the original ones were these blue Xbox 360 control freaks, Halo 4 editions. And I thought, I've won them, just going to try them out. And I used them, bro. I couldn't aim for like 2-3 days, man. I was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what am I doing? Like, but I kept going. I kept grinding at it. And then I realized, after like 4 days, 5 days, I was hitting crazy like world star shots that, I might not have been hitting before. Or maybe it's just a complete placebo and it's all in my head. But it works, right? So I'm not gonna like deny that.
If it works, it works.
But
I watched you had a YouTube video about it. I think you said it adds like 30% like of a range of motion. You get like an extra 30%. I don't know if that's an official statistic or whatever it is, but it makes sense. Like as far as fine tuning precision, you just
the
have
elevation.
you have more control over like fine movements before you make that quick flick. You don't peg quite as quickly. So yeah, really interesting. Maybe you guys should check that out, viewers in the chat. Try out some control freaks or even just the longer. I know that now they have controllers that make just long sticks. Like my Scuff came with like a long stick that I'm going to try out. The last thing I have from you is a clip on your Twitter called Classic MCC. Let's just take a look at this real quick. You get a nice headshot, and then look at this beautiful stick. By the way, you deserve this.
Trajectory.
Yeah, and then just nothing. You don't get the kill. And then you're gonna show it in your theater mode here. What happened to it? It got like absorbed by the floor.
Bro, like this sort of stuff, man. It never it happened on the original port, like the original 360 like version, but never happened half as much as the crazy stuff that happens on MCC, man. So I'm convinced to this day, right? I mean, call me crazy, but I used to be an FFA player, way back when, and the first Halo 3 event. I got second in the UGC St. Louis FFA. Yeah. But when my statistics after an FFA game ended, I would have tool of destruction of just a beatdown and sticky grenades, right? Just heretic beatdown, sticky grenades. That's all I would do. But when I was playing the FFA, and I was throwing sticky grenades at people just like looking at me, just basically stood still, running at me in a straight line. On MCC, they just go through people, or they just fall off them and just disappear. And I'm convinced to this day that I literally lost the FFA because I had I'm not even kidding, probably about 10, 11 sticky grenades just not count when on 360 they would. So I was just quite frustrated about that. Like you could probably do like a back-to-back comparison on these kind of things, and like if you put the games like next to each other, it's crazy. Like I figured out more stuff as well. Like you get more auto aim on the heat seek on the plasma pistol on MCC. Than you do on 360.
Really?
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, and people will call me like a head case. They'll be like, "Yo, you're crazy, bro." But I was one of the first people on Halo 5 as well to issue that slow turn was a real thing. Everybody called me insane.
Really?
It was me, Arcanum, and Contra. We was like, something's not right about this aiming system. It was like, and everybody was like,
"You're talking about heavy aim, are you? Talking about slow turn or something?"
Heavy aim on Halo 5. Everybody was calling us head cases, and like 6 months, 9 months down the line, everybody's like, "Yo, 343, fix this heavy aim," and we're just sat here like this, like we told you.
And they literally put it in their fix, like we patched heavy aim. Like,
I mean, it didn't get patched really. Like, let's be real.
But that's interesting. As far as the MCC topic goes, though, you're not the first one who's wanted to do a side-by-side comparison when it comes to spawns, when it comes to like you said about the plasma pistol. It just doesn't seem the same to a lot of people. It would be very interesting. Like that'd be a hell of a YouTube video if somebody could put together some sort of like a proper. It would be so difficult though. I don't know how you would, recreate the exact same scenarios over and over and like compare them side by side and then showcase the differences.
I think lag compensation as well. Like for us players, especially outside of North America, we used to get like lag compensation obviously for the ping deficit, you know. So our spread on our battle rifle would be wider, whereas like you needed a wider spread because of the latency, because it's like 200 milliseconds. You know, you're in a different place on my screen, so for the lag compensation, the spread on the BR would be bigger. You know, your lunges, you would lunge further across the map for the pure compensation. But MCC, that doesn't exist, you know. So we're playing at like a deficit from like other countries, like outside of NA, but they didn't address these issues, you know. So like it's even harder now to play online than it was back in 2007, which is crazy.
That's actually a really good point. You said earlier in one of your videos as well that because of this lag compensation issue, you can't like scope in, or you shouldn't scope in with your BR in certain scenarios. It's better to stay unscoped because you get a better, fatter spread or something. How does that work?
So you can, if you watch some amplified gameplay from LAN back on 360, right? There's a famous clip of Walshy. I think he's on one of the P corners on amplified, and he is cross-mapping people. Scoped in, he is cross-mapping people like crazy. All shots connecting, right? I played amplified on LAN at least, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 times this event, and this is like quote-unquote LAN. And I'm cross-mapping people, and nothing's happening, man. Like, it's like half happening. So if it's half happening on LAN, like, you can only imagine online. I'm just, like, I don't even scope in because the spread tightens, obviously, when you scope in, so you have to hit it more direct. But I can't scope in. Like, I don't even use my scope online because nothing counts. It's crazy, man, honestly.
Yeah. All right, well, you heard it there, and that's just kind of the first of many issues that make things difficult for you guys over in Europe to try to stay competitive and whatnot. Despite that, you seem to still be making your way over to a lot of the big events, and we'll talk about those as well. But let's go back in time a little bit first, because today you're known as one of the most dominant Halo players in Europe. Back in Halo 5, you shared the record for the highest European placing at a North American event, along with Jimbo, Kimbo, and Mose. Just last weekend at Face It, you finished second place just behind Tox Gaming, proving that you're currently the strongest competitors across the pond. But where did it all begin? How did you first get into Halo?
I first got into Halo 2007. Okay, so it was my birthday in August.
Good time to get into Halo, by the way.
Must have been my 12th birthday. I'm pretty sure, or 13th birthday. I'm not sure, but 2007. And I've always been an avid PlayStation gamer. So PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PSP. You know, like playing it on school, like trips.
PSP was
like
sick.
That.
Yeah.
And my mum said to me, you know, she's like, "Do you want the PlayStation 3 at the time, or you can wait 1 month and I'll get you a late birthday present, which was the Xbox 360 Elite, which was coming out." And when the Elite, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go Xbox. So I waited an extra month, got the Elite, and my mum got me Halo 3 Legendary Edition with the Master Chief helmet.
Let's go.
And
That's amazing.
I've never played Halo prior. And it was pretty crazy, to be honest with you, because I completed a campaign on normal, and then I replayed it on Legendary. I played and then I said to my mum, you know, like, I'm done with this game. I want to like take it back to the game shop and trade it in. She's like, and she was like, I spent £120. That's how much it was at the time. So like $140, $50, I don't know. And she's like, you're not taking it back. You're gonna play the game. You're not taking it back. I spent way too much money on you. So I was like, all right. And then I started playing online, and I was like, oh my God, this is the most fun I've ever had playing a game, ever, period. And then I got really sweaty online. Like 2007, I just played by myself. 2008, I got like the start of 2008, I got like my first 50. So I was only like, 12, 13 at the time. And then it just grew from there. I got like sweatier and sweatier, basically, and I mean that's where it all started. So 2007, shout out to my mum. She taught me to play.
She made you stick with it.
I don't know what I'd be doing right now if she didn't, honestly.
Yeah. Combination of that amazing birthday present too, though. I mean, how many kids get the console plus the Legendary Edition? You can just buy the game. You know what I mean? Like that's the hardcore fan version.
Definitely, for sure.
That's awesome. But I also find it crazy that you played the campaign. You're like, oh, this is cool. I'm done with it. And then you're ready. Yeah. There are so many people who just play like the campaign. They're like, Halo's the best thing ever. Like, and they play Halo 3 campaign. But I guess multiplayer is what ties it all together. So I guess the moment you discovered that, and was it you were playing like competitive from the beginning, or you just like jumping in Social Slayer, Big Team Battle, and like everything was fun?
Well, I've always been super competitive as a person, so I'm a bit of a strange guy in that kind of retrospect, because I had one of those accounts that, you know, you had your service record, rank games, social games, custom games played, and you had your XP, right?
Yeah.
I like made an account in 2008, like a second, because I had so many accounts on Halo 3. I made an account and I just never played social. So it's from 2008, I never played a single social game on Halo.
Wow.
Because I didn't like the look of it on my record saying I played one social game.
Right.
I was like, so I made just accounts from then on, only ranked 100%.
Damn.
So yeah, it was crazy, man.
So that's all it took was just the competitive environment, and then you're hooked, right? And you're like, oh, I want the best
really.
stats I could get, the best like service record. And then from there, I guess, how does that transition into you going to your first event? Because I believe that was EGL Blackpool 9, and that was for Halo 4. So that was years later. So kind of, I guess, fill in the gaps a little bit as far as your passion for Halo. You started to meet people online. Were you playing any online tournaments or game battles or anything before that? Or
Yeah, so I was always signing up on online tournaments, Halo 3, Halo Reach, Halo 4, like 2v2s, FFAs. I won so many online tournaments, like it was crazy. But my mum never kind of like supported me going to an actual event because I was a young kid, you know, and gaming's not what it is today. Right, so like everybody knows about Fortnite winning millions of dollars kind of thing. Back then it was different. I used to watch MLG and stuff. I was infatuated with the game, but I just turned 16, and I wanted to go to events for the longest time, but she just wouldn't let me go. She was like, "Oh, they're virtual people. You don't know what they're like."
Right.
So like she just didn't trust it.
Mm-hmm.
I was begging year after year after year, and finally when I turned 16, I might have been late to the party because it was Halo 4, and I would have loved to go in, you know, Reach, Halo 3, but she finally said, "Okay, you can go." But she come with me to the event. That was the clause. The clause was she comes with me to the event. So I was like, right, I'm at the event now, Mum. You can go do what you want. And she would just she was just stand there by the door and just be like watching me. And I'd be like, Mum, like you gotta go, like. But ever since then, she saw how much that I enjoyed it, and I loved competing and playing on LAN. You know, like in that environment, there's nothing that compares to it to me. And she saw that, so I've been to events since. Obviously, that was the only one I went with her, and since then she kind of let me start traveling alone and doing all that kind of stuff. So I'm appreciative for that.
That's awesome, man. Big shout outs to your mom then, who just got you into it to begin with, and then I guess supports you on your passion. She's with you every step of the way. That's awesome, dude. So I guess, did you know you were hooked when you did that first event? You come into the LAN. What was that experience like? Like you got to meet people there. I think it was at 9th through 12th. What was your placement for the first one?
Yeah, I think because you played consolation matches back then, I think we finished 10th place. But I turned up to the event. I turned up to that event. I didn't have a team. I got a makeshift team on the day. I didn't even know what seeding points were back then, and I slept in a bathtub. That was the grind, bro. I slept in a bathtub with a makeshift team, and that's the consequences I was willing to take to play at an event, you know. And
is that like an Airbnb or so? They didn't even have that, I guess. At the time.
No.
How do you set that up? It's like some guy's house.
So EGL 9 was in the Norbreck Castle, which is a hotel. Okay. It's a big hotel where all the old people go to, like, when they're retired and stuff. So it's a strange place. But I just got a room there, and this guy was like, "Yeah, you can stay." Like my teammate at the time on the makeshift, he was like, "You can stay with me." I was like, because me and my mum had a separate hotel, like across the other side. But I was just like, I'm just gonna stay here because it's like a lot closer. Like I wake up and I'm already in the venue, you know.
Right. You get to hang out with all the players.
Yeah, for real. So I always knew I had something kind of like, without sounding egotistical, like I knew that I was like kind of special, like in a way I just knew I was good, basically.
You had a knack for it.
Yeah, and the thing is, people wouldn't give you the light of day back then like they do today. They'll be like, "Oh, online kid, warrior," and like I knew I was better than all these people, right? So I just wanted to go to an event and prove everybody wrong, like, and just get them to shut the mouth, kind of thing. Because it was like, "Oh, you'll never go to a LAN event. You're a joke, online kid." You know, like every good player gets that like kind of stick. Like I remember Lethal back in Halo 3. Everybody hated Lethal in Halo 3, and then obviously he won the Combine, and then Halo Reach came about, and I look how much success he's had from that, you know. So I just wanted to prove everybody wrong.
That's the kind of thing how it works with Halo as well too. Like when you want to be competitive in that type of environment, people will tell you that you're not worth shit until you actually go to land. I know a good example that I've been thinking of recently is Bound, who people call him that they say he plays mouse and keyboard because he never goes to any local events, so he has to basically eat it until he actually goes to one. But yeah, and then once you go there, you start to prove yourself. When did you feel like you started to kind of prove yourself? Because you followed that up. I believe it was 6th place at Multiplayer Insomnia 49, and then 3rd place at Multiplayer Insomnia 50. And then from there came H2A, and you kicked things off with Team Infuse, and you're alongside Buck 20, Reaction, and Vard. You're starting to make a big name for yourself in the scene. Was there any point where you started you were really you felt like you were becoming a top player? People were starting to recognize that. And at what point did something click and you felt like competitive Halo was your passion? Or did you know from the beginning that you wanted to be the best competitor?
I mean, I knew before competing myself that I wanted to be something big. Watching. Right. Obviously, I told you before I used to watch the Halo 3 Justin.tv, MLG TV broadcasts and stuff, and I knew then I wanted to be something. But I've always felt like I've been good enough from the get-go, even from my first event. I feel like I've been good enough. But it's kind of like nowadays, right? It's crazy because so imagine Shotzi, right? He's crazy. He's a crazy talented guy, right? But
right.
Way back when, people wouldn't have given him a chance like they did, in Halo 5. If he was playing Halo 3, fast forward, if he was my age in Halo 3 or something, people would be like, oh no, we're not going to give this kid a chance, kind of thing. We're not going to team with him. They just wouldn't. So you kind of had to build your way up. Well, in the European community anyway. I'm not sure if it's the same in NA, but I assume it is. So yeah. I went with a makeshift for my first event, right? Turned up on the day, teamed with random people. My second event, I teamed with slightly better people, right? But deep down, I still knew that I was good enough to be on top. And then you team with better people, right? And then you kind of work your way up through the levels until then finally the best team are yo, actually we're gonna drop someone and pick you up, bro. And that's what happened,
So when did that happen for you? Was that H2A? Was that
H2A, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it was when I was playing for TCM back on H2A, yeah.
Okay. And at that point you felt okay, I'm recognized as a pro player right now. I'm finally, in the top leagues.
Yeah, I mean, I've always believed it in my own mind, but I don't think other people might not have themselves. So that was when I kind of solidified myself to everybody else, that
nice.
Well, I am worth something, kind of thing.
Yeah. So following that came Halo 5, and you not only did you achieve some of your top placings, you broke a couple records as well. And the big one was that you earned top 6 with Team Infuse back in 2017 at DreamHack. And this was unprecedented. A European team had never won top 6 in a North American event before. We have a quick clip that we're going to show with audio. You guys can check that out. We'll play that up right now.
Are showing no mercy, making sure that they can keep that control with these strongholds.
Yeah, 1.5 times as many slays for this Infused roster. When you have that many more kills, that much more significant of a percentage, it's going to show. It's going to show in your map presence. It's going to show in your options as far as running around getting strongholds. It's going to show in the amount of pressure that Strait can even put on you. Jimbo getting that shotgun kill over a light rifle. He's got to be feeling it. Only a few more kills, and it's almost guaranteed that Strait cannot capture these strongholds.
Yeah, now Jimbo is going to go down, straight ripping, panicking. You can see they're just rushing out, trying to get any capture. They've got some focus at bottom middle. He hits the ground pound, but he's not able to get the finish. It doesn't matter. Team Infused, the European squad, they do it. They take down straight ripping, and they are moving into the top 6 for the first time ever, making Halo history. Never before seen. This is the roster everyone looked to. Onset, Gaskin, Sims, all the EU guys have constantly talked about this squad. Even NA players this tournament were saying this team, they have got what it takes and they've got that individual skill. And you know what? They have proved so many wrong and they have done it. Team in.
I can see your hair is midway through the transformation phase there. It's it's getting wavier. Yeah,
that was the start.
Yeah, that was the start.
For real.
So that was the moment right there. Of course, you guys looked all chill about it, but I mean, how did you feel at the time landing in top 6? Was this one of the biggest moments in your career so far? Did it feel like anything at the time? Or?
Well, I think it was a blessing and a curse in a way. And I'm going to say that because I feel like when we did that, like we'd only previously placed top 8, you know, at Worlds kind of thing, like top 8, like yeah, whatever, and we placed top 6, which was like big for a European team, seeing as though we had like next to no practice and stuff against any NA teams.
Nice.
But I feel like it was a curse because I feel like we felt like the tournament was over at that point, you know? Like we still had the rest of the tournament to play. Like we was playing Liquid after that series, you know? And everybody was like still happy. Like, yo, we got top 6 guys, like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, guys, we're playing Liquid for top 4 now. You know, but everybody's kind of like so like gassed up and happy. I think we lost like 3-1 to Liquid, and they got second at that event. It was like, I think it was like Eco, Stella, Sparta, and somebody else. Well, I legitimately believed like we could have if we stayed like playing the way we was playing. I legitimately believe that we could have beat them, 100%. But I just feel like everybody was like, oh well, we've got this far now, so you know, like whatever, we've done what we've come to do. But like obviously nothing. Like I told you, like I'm super competitive, like hyper competitive, and
you have to be, which is fine.
Nothing means more than winning to me, you know. Like I hate losing more than I like winning. Like it's like a curse. Like it's such a
that's
like,
the mindset, but
I don't know if it's a good mentality.
So I don't know. Yeah,
it's strange, but yeah, I feel like we could have beat Liquid that day, and I just wish all of the team were like, including myself. I just wish we played the same way we played in the previous series. You know? Just kept going, 100%.
I think, like you're saying, like that kind of mindset, you could be kind of hard on yourself, maybe, and you don't look at certain achievements and maybe really feel what you've achieved in the way that maybe you should. Maybe you should celebrate those moments a little more, whatever it is. But I also think your mindset is the reason why you're as good as you are, right? People who hate losing so much, they hate losing more than winning. They can't deal with just that idea of losing. They fight so hard in every single tournament. That's why they're able to achieve what they achieve, because they have that relentless mindset. Even if it can be kind of destructive at times, whatever it is. But I think that's a good point that you brought up, though, is that they kind of were already celebrating before the event was over. It was like, oh, damn, we beat a milestone. And that is kind of like a blessing and a curse. It's like you feel like you're mentally checked out. Like, oh, at least we did this. So now we can go out and still be happy and go out happy rather than, fighting like your life is on the line until the very end.
It's like this recent Face It event, everybody was like, yo, congrats guys, like you gave Tox a good fight, like it was so close, like 5-4 on the flag you lost, like 3-2, you won like the Slayers and stuff. It's like, you guys fought really well, and everybody's congratulating us, and I'm like, I just feel like bad, like everybody's like so happy for me and like at the team and stuff, but it just made me feel bad because like I know that we could have won. But people are like, wow, like, we're so shocked, like, you got this far in the first place kind of thing. And it's like, but in my head, it's like, I know we can beat them. And I know in my teammates' heads, they know the same, they feel the same way. And that's crucial to me. I need, like, teammates that are as confident in their own ability as they are in the rest of the team. Like, you need to believe in each other. Everybody needs to win. You can't have one person that's just kind of like there for the ride. Everybody has to believe that they want to win, and the biggest thing is you have to believe that your teammates know they want to as well, and you have to trust them. And I know that this team that I played with recently at Face It wanted that, so that's why it made it like even more upsetting that we didn't beat Tox and take him to the second best of 7.
Yeah. Thinking about it now, though, it is kind of unfortunate in a way that I guess maybe because you're a European team, people are inclined to congratulate you for second place. It's like, oh, you did good. You put up a fight against the NA team. It's like, come on, man. Like, I don't want to be in that position. Do you feel like it's kind of bigger than even you in a sense? It's like, as a European player, not only do you want to prove people wrong because you're skilled, but as a European team to prove that European teams can take out NA teams, that you are that talented, that it's not. Do you feel that as well? It's even bigger than you.
Yeah, for real. Like, there's some sort of stigma now, like, there'll be, like, jokes every now and again, like, people, like, poking fun, like, oh, like, we, like, European this, European that, but, like, I feel like if you took, like, I don't know, like, the two best teams from Europe, and you stuck them in NA, and you made them play NA people every day, like they play, like, would be crazy. It wouldn't even be, it would be scary. So I feel like if like my teams back in Halo 5, like lived in America, I feel like we could have been just the team itself. Like I feel like we could have been a consistent top 3, top 4 team like every event.
Yeah, Yeah.
For real. And that's just like that's like current team. That's not even like if we were to bounce around and trade with like NA players and stuff like that, you know. That's just like all core Europeans, like 8 Europeans, I feel like.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you. I feel like the talent is definitely there, and I'm hoping it's something that we can see evolve when MCC hits PC and when Halo Infinite comes out. If they can do something to better incorporate this European scene and other scenes as well, like maybe Asia and whatnot around the world, to try to showcase talent from all these locations. Somehow even the playing field too. I don't know what they can do as far as connection, lag, compensation, whatever they got to do. But hopefully, that experience is leveled up and online is better. I mean, even in Halo 5, people are saying Halo 3 online is abysmal. Like Halo 5 online is at least, playable for Europeans. Hopefully they can continue to fix it going onwards. Because I feel like then you can finally start to prove yourself. But conveniently, you were also saying if you could play in US, it would be the best experience. You can, play against the best players. You get the best practice. You did get a chance for a little bit to play in US. So at the very end of Halo 5, HCS Atlanta, you landed on Straight Rippin', this is the first time that Straight Rippin' adopted an all-European roster. Not only did they add you to the roster, they brought you over to US. They gave you a team house, and you guys got to chill and practice Halo and be in a really cool practice environment. We've got some video footage here in the background for you guys to check out. Tell me a bit about this experience. This was pretty badass. It came out of nowhere. You guys were just doing like a team house tour video all of a sudden, like.
Yeah, so this is the kind of thing that I've always dreamed about. You know? Like I always wanted to play in NA, especially with a bunch of my closest friends. It was a crazy experience, just learning. Like you always used to see it on like the Call of Duty like Optic, like stuff like that, where they're all at team house and stuff. And we finally got to do it. We finally got to scrim against NA teams, and it was a great bonding experience. It was a great learning experience as well. And everything comes like so much more naturally and stuff like this. But I feel like the placements that we got after this boot camp didn't reflect the way that we played and stuff, because we beat, I think it was like commonly an straight 6 team. We beat them in our bracket. Like we had like the pool of death basically. So like us winning the games, like some games in our pools actually like set us up in the bracket in a wrong way. So we ended up so basically the team that we beat like ended up placing like top 6, and we placed like top 12 at that event, which is like crazy, right?
Right. Interesting.
We had like a pool of death, and like the way it all like worked out and stuff, and then we lost like it was like we ended up playing Elevate for top 8, and like us against Elevate for top 8 is crazy, right? Because we're we're both really good teams. And so we played them for top 8, and it goes to a game 5, and it was like 50-48 Plaza, like heartbreaker game 5, and we ended up placing like top 12 out of that, when like in reality we was probably like a top 4, top 6 team just after 3 weeks in NA. So it was just the way the bracket fell and stuff. And I feel like this was the best I ever played. Halo event, like that last event too, the best I've ever played. Yeah, I ended up being a little bit of a nerd too, and like I was like, I played so good this event. So I know stats don't tell the whole story, but I had a look. I was like Halo Data Hive, and I had a look at, I think it was the KD, the best KD for the event, and it was like Royal 2 like had the best KD at that event. And he won the event, right? And then like I got top 12, and I had like the second best KD at the event.
Nice.
So it was just like, so at least I did play good then, I guess. Like
had to pad the stats a little.
Just starting a little bit. Nah, definitely not. But it was the whole like team house thing. Seeing like Tom, T2, Small, like Everett, and then the media guy Travis, Niwa. It just like a lot of friendship going on, a lot of learning, and it was a really great time. It was there was like conflict as well, because of how like serious we took the game in, like between me and my teammates, not in a bad way, but if we had like a disagreement on a play in a certain scrim or something. But honestly, it was a big learning curve and a big experience, and I wouldn't take it back. It was definitely a really good time.
Right, because I assume you've never had anything like that up until that point, and have you had a team house situation like that since? I assume that's like the ultimate. Yeah, is that what you would dream to have? I guess in the future of Halo, is to continue to have something like that.
Yeah, 100%. Like you see these Call of Duty teams, they've got like when they're playing the Pro League, the Call of Duty Pro League, and they all get like little apartments with their own little rooms in it, and then they practice against each other like LAN Pro League, and then they go to the event. And it's crazy, man. Like that, I can only dream to do stuff like that. Like I dream just to be on a level playing field with the Americans, and then just walk out there and just go play against them. That's just all I want to do, man.
Damn. Yeah. Well, hopefully they can start by doing that. But the Team House thing looks like a dream. Awesome that you got to experience it right before Halo 5 kind of finished off. Before we jump into Halo 3, just kind of like looking back on everything, what did you think of H5? And was there anything that you really disliked about it, or felt like 343 needs to really learn from? Especially, just we were talking about Europe's position in comparison to NA and kind of evening the playing field, but maybe other things about the game itself. What did you think?
Halo 5's core game, right? So, like I'm talking like core bones on the game. You take everything out, right, and it is a phenomenal game. It's a brilliant game. It's probably like the best Halo, behind Halo 2 and Halo 3, which are obviously like crazy games. Like but they took way too long, man. Like they took way too long. Like the maps could have been so much better. Just simple things like we was playing with like radar and like ARs and all these crazy settings, man, for way too long. 2 years?
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years, bro. And by the time this has happened, like people's they've lost interest, man.
Yeah.
Like viewership's declined, and then obviously the tournament like prize pool started declining as well because they took so long. Whereas like you look at other games like League of Legends, man, they're keeping it fresh, They keep experimenting all the time. Like they have their devs on demand, And like no discredit or disrespect to 343, man, but I think they need to be a lot more open and honest, and they need to try more stuff, man. Like other games have like weapon tunings and stuff and like that. And like 343 would come out with like a weapon tuning, and it would, I don't know, man, like it would take like a month to like just test out like a binary rifle on Coliseum, like kind of thing. Like I just feel like they were so slow, like, and that was at their own demise, really, because this is a good game, man. It could have been so much better than it was. Fix the game types, fix the maps. Like, I don't agree with Strongholds as a game type too much, simply because all I can think of is the guys in the 343 office testing the like Strongholds as a core game type out. Them guys aren't just sliding off spawn. Like blocking spawn, Gandhi hop, spring jumping off the walls, right? In the 343 office in like 2015, developing the game. They're not doing that. So when people found out how to abuse it, hold the trip cap, fly at these guys, just keep them on a spawn rotation. Like Plaza Strongholds was the worst one for it, right? So they're forcing you on a blue spawn, right? They have camo, they have shotgun and yard and stuff. Like I don't care how good you are. Sometimes you can get 100 owed. We saw like great teams getting 100 owed, right, on that stuff. 100 owed, like unheard of. And then the next game, the team that got 100 owed would win the next one, right? So it was just crazy, man. But I think as a game, it could have been so much more than it was. Really. I just wish they did it sooner because I did enjoy Halo 5. Besides from like the little things like the settings, the heavy aim, that was a big pet peeve of mine. But as a game, like I think as long as the devs are more active and they're more responsive with the people, because it's the people, especially the competitive community, they think that they have to make change to stay relevant when that's not the case at all. I mean, you look at Counter-Strike, right? That game's been around for years. They've made absolute minimal changes, but people still love that game. Right? I just feel like if Halo 3 was released now, is like a new, like I know we're playing it on MCC, but if Halo 3 was released now is like the game it was on 360 today and nobody played anything previous, I think that would be a giant esport. Like I think it would wipe the flow of everything.
Halo 3, you're saying if it continued forward without follow-ups?
No. If Halo 3 didn't come out in 2007 and it was like released today, I think that game would be blown out of proportion like crazy.
What's crazy about something? Sorry, continue if you go.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, what's crazy is that the package that Halo 3 is actually still a massive release today. Like, if you released a game that had that much content, that would still be, like, maybe not like I don't want to say like unprecedented. Like there aren't really any games that have that much content on release. So yeah, if you're dropping something like Halo 3 today, I think it would actually be pretty.
Like theater mode,
yeah,
launch mode,
your own file share that you can like
file share, and bro, we're talking about 2007 as well. It's 12 years later. 2019 games aren't even releasing with that much stuff. Halo 5, no theater, no split screen, no LAN mode, bro. This is like core like mechanics for like LAN's been around since like what the 1980s, and how are you releasing a game in 2019 without a LAN? Like we're sat there having trouble on servers. It's just crazy, man. Like this shouldn't be happening.
It was like it took like 2.5 years or something to finally get that app or whatever that was. They had like a LAN app on the PC. Yeah. And you're talking about like updating and just weapon tuning and stuff like that too, which is something they went over. Remember the tragedy with the BR and the weapon tuning with that, and it became terrible. And then they never fully fixed it, and then nobody ever used the BR anymore. So this is just these are perfect examples of what not to do, I guess, as far as updating your game in the future. So what you say is what everybody seems to be saying, is that Halo 5 at its core is actually a really great game. It was just how quickly 343 was able to respond to what we wanted as customers, and also I feel like talking to Unishek about this, they had planned out what they wanted to do in advance, which is great from like a planning organization standpoint. But yeah, in the gaming industry, that's not quite how it works, because certain issues will arise that were unplanned, or certain needs will come into place that take priority over whatever whatever your previously planned content updates were. Like they would have something set 3 months later, and then something else would come up, and they're throwing out this content update that's no longer as relevant as dealing with the issue that's in front of them. So it's interesting, and I think you're absolutely right. I think 343, they can have planned content updates, but they need to be in a malleable state. They need to be able to adjust to whatever's going on and continue to update and make fundamental, important changes when necessary, and that's what's going to help the game succeed. As far as your point with keeping things simple, like Counter-Strike is a game that's stayed consistent throughout for years, for decades now, and that Halo could do the same thing. At this point, Halo has gone so far in this direction of high-speed advanced movement. Do you think it would be jarring to go all the way back? Would you want them to go back to classic style 100%? Would you want them to hybridize it? Where are you feeling it? Are you kind of
see, I've played
give me 1 sec, by the way. I'm going to turn off that stupid noise in the background, guys. 1 sec.
No problem, man.
And all right, my bad, dude. Go.
Yo. Yeah, so I've played every iteration of Halo, so even like Halo 1, Halo 2. Right. Obviously, I started with Halo 3, but since they've been released, I've come back and just played the old games. And I wouldn't... Okay, so Halo 5, way too much, right? Halo 3, I love Halo 3, the core movement and stuff like that. But I wouldn't, honestly speaking, I wouldn't mind Sprint. I wouldn't care if Sprint was in the game, as long as the maps are optimized for it. But like thrust sliding, ground pound, auto stabilize, I could deal with a thrust and sprint, absolute like minimum. So I could still play classic Halo like nothing. Yes. I could play just sprint only, or at the very, very most, I think sprint and thrust. But that's it. I don't think it should go further than any of that at all.
What about that's spring jumping?
Yeah, actually, I don't mind spring jumping.
I like spring jumping.
Yeah, I like spring. I spring jumped a hell of a lot. Yeah, I didn't think of that one, but that wasn't obviously meant to be in the game. But I'm talking about something that they've put in intentionally. You know, so spring jumping is just I did it in like Halo 4 H2A kind of thing as well. So yeah, I wasn't thinking of that, but of course I'd love spring jumping in it. It takes like. It's a different level, like movement, like obviously ClearlyMe's being on here, and some of the stuff you can do with your movement to like benefit your gameplay is crazy, man.
It's just a better, it works better because it doesn't, like, thrust sliding throws you across the map, and then that just mixes up things as far as balance and momentum, and like if you're able to get to important places so quickly, it shakes things up as far as Halo's classic competitive formula. It just doesn't work anymore. It's a new formula, which is what Halo 5 is.
What's funny was my last team, we used to lose on Coliseum CTF to like some like American teams, and then all we said was, let's just never go into sniper rifle. Like, let's just never go into snipe. So we only used, like, if we went into snipe, we would only use the mazes and the catwalks, right? Only the maze and the catwalk, and then the middle of the map, and then the elbows and that kind of thing. And we never went like outskirts or like sniper spawn of snipes. So we would just like sprint, or slide through those sides of the map, and would just leave like the main power position of the map. We'll just leave it open and never go there. And then we ended up just like 3-0ing everybody on that game time. Because like we were just flying through like parts of the map and not getting control of the actual parts where we're supposed to like hypothetically like control.
Right.
You know, so like I think like thrust slide in like ground pound, because you can all like tee them up into like you could like thrust slide into an auto stabilize into a ground pound, and you could be like, it is crazy. It takes skill, right? Because I was good at it, and I was nerdy at it, but I don't like it, man. But like I enjoy it. I think it's fun. But as a competitive standpoint, I'd just be happy with just core mechanics or just sprint and just thrust, and obviously spring jumping as well.
Yeah, like you said, it completely takes the formula of classic Halo and just turns it on its head, because you're saying you ignored a power position that in any other Halo game would be necessary. You'd need to have somebody posted in one of these top important power positions, but instead, if your whole team just ignores it, goes a different route, you're still able to get these 3-0 results. So yeah, I think these abilities are interesting. They can speed up gameplay, they can make things exciting, but if it gets to the point where one individual player can get to such important locations on the map, or is so flexible that he can kind of do anything that he wants to do, really, then it messes up the team dynamic from a strategy standpoint. So
what I noticed was when Halo 5 come out, I obviously played Reach, HCS, Halo 3. I threw a lot of core knowledge that I had. I just threw it out of the window, right? So imagine me I'll go play a game of matchmaking now on Heretic, and I'm gonna run bottom middle on the Heretic. I'm gonna get melted, man. I'm just gonna get melted. But I would just I'll play Halo 5 Truth, and I'll just be sat bottom mid, just like being a nuisance.
You can do that.
Sliding under the base, spring jumping into the windows and stuff, and it's like unheard of. So I had to like physically like drill out the right thing to do in my head, and
change
just do like the crazy like Halo 5 kid, like adapt to it sort of thing. And I think that's why, like Tox, like Optic, like they struggled so much when Splice came out of nowhere, because they wasn't playing Halo in a conventional way. They were playing it, they were abusing the game. Like the game wasn't supposed to be intended to be played the way Splice did it, right? So that's why they went on this crazy winning streak. And then obviously like people started like replicating what they was doing and stuff, and then like obviously Optic Tox, they started doing it again. So they finally, like the last two events, I think they won, was it the Atlanta and London, the London event. They ended up winning the last ones because they kind of thought like, well, we can't just keep doing what we're doing because there's a bunch of kids just thrust sliding, breaking through ourselves, just like spring jumping off walls. So they like adapted it too. So you're taking like your real Halo knowledge and throwing it out the window to an extent, which is it's pretty crazy, because the game wasn't supposed to be played like that. But there was still a lot of skill aspect to it as well, like the movement is definitely for real. You could tell how good somebody was from the movement. I was a bit of a nerd as well. I used 3 paddles on the Halo 5, so I had a jump paddle, a sprint paddle, and then a beat down paddle, and then I would claw my Y button, which was to change. So, and bro, I used to spring jump, right? I can't even get it on camera.
Oh, you would scoreboard spring jump.
Yeah, but people used to do it with the thumb, right? I used to take my index finger, and then I would jump with my paddle. I would jump with my paddle, press crouch on my stick, and claw my index finger to the back button, and I'd spring jump that way. And nobody else spring jumped in that way. And it was like obviously the back button one you could do it 100% of the time, but that was like the most unconventional way. And because I clawed my index finger on the back button, I could still aim while I was doing it.
Right.
I was crazy at that stuff.
That personally, though, the scoreboard spring jump is one of the most upsetting things for me as far as the move mechanics in the game.
I can imagine.
That bothers the shit out of me because it's 100% consistent and it's not really that hard to do. Of course, you forego your ability to shoot while you have the scoreboard up, but it's broken. Like, it's clearly broken. Like, that plus the start menu, plus there's a new trick, which I'll announce on HCS Weekly. If you have an elite controller, and I've been telling everybody this now.
If you have the profiles.
Exactly, the profile switch.
I knew about
you
that.
have okay, so it's not a new thing. My bad. It's something I learned recently. But for those of you who don't know, you have one profile with a paddle that has jump, and then that same paddle is crouch on the other profile. So I guess you start with the one that has it on crouch. You jump, hold crouch, land on the floor and crouch, and then flick the switch. that input becomes jump, you instantly perfectly spring jump right afterwards. Just by
there's an even nerdier one that I think it wasn't 100%. It was, I haven't done it personally, but my teammate Snipe Drone has. So he crouches with his right stick. He plays, I think, his boxer. And on Halo 5, he set a paddle. Because what I noticed was it's harder to spring jump if you use the actual stick as your crouch. Then like Shotzi used was B to crouch, button, right?
Yeah.
Was B to crouch. So if you used a button rather than a stick to crouch, it's more consistent.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if you use a crouch to use a button or a crouch.
So I figured out a technique to do it with a stick, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
As far as, and I'll explain my own wacky technique, but
there's so many like crazy ways, man.
What did Snipe Drone do?
So he mapped his crouch to a paddle. So the crouch actually acted as a button instead of the stick.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So he would hit it, like 90% of the time, 95% of the time, because it was on a paddle, which acted as a button rather than a stick. So it's crazy, man. Like that, he did that, and he didn't have to have the scoreboard up like I did because of that. And I was just so used to like using free paddles, muscle memory, clawing. I was like, I don't care. Like I can scoreboard, still aim at the same time almost because I've still got my thumb on the stick. Yeah. So everybody had their own little weird techniques, man. But it's whatever fits to the person.
Yeah, somebody like Shotzi would use claw on face buttons, and he would go B to A. He would slide his index finger from B to A. And I don't know if it's easier because it's a button. I think it's just the process of, if you have it on a left stick, this process of like lifting your thumb and then pressing, because that's what I'm a bumper jumper, so I got to lift my thumb. Oh, it's not even in the screen, is it?
Yeah, there you go.
I gotta lift my left thumb, and then I have to clench my index finger to press the left bumper, and it's two opposite actions. It's a lifting and a pull at the same time, which I felt they don't complement each other. It feels terrible. It's hard to hit consistent. So my trick is I land on crouch and I flick upwards, like a quick flick upwards, while I hit the left bumper at the same time in this I can't even keep up. In this like pinching motion. And by doing that, when I flick upwards, I'm inadvertently releasing crouch. So it's just a quick, like for a moment in time, he does like a nudge forward, but it's a perfect spring jump when you get the muscle memory down. You're just doing a quick pinch.
Yeah.
Anyway, whole other thing. But the biggest point I think you brought up was the fact that the tools available in Halo 5, they're very difficult to master, of course, but if mastered, it changes the way the game is played entirely. Like you can fight your way out of almost any scenario. Like you said, in Truth, you can make bottom mid viable in Truth if you are good enough at the techniques in the game, which that's a feat in itself. And I find that pretty incredible. But when it comes to competitive Halo and what is competitive Halo, like from a team standpoint, from a strategy standpoint, it throws it out the window. Like a pro player has to be like, okay, time to turn all my knowledge about competitive Halo upside down and just realize
slide. Bro, like the amount of times I was at a Halo event and I was just like, just fly at them. Just fly. And that's all you needed to do in certain scenarios, just fly. Like it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Which, in some ways I find that sick because I think like, damn, if you're good enough at Halo, you unlock Super Saiyan mode and you're like, you're hitting every button perfectly. You're hitting your shots. You're flawlessly doing all your movement. You're basically like untouchable. You can get out of like the craziest situations. But conventionally, like, it just doesn't make sense in a 4v4 game that's built around strategy, around like balance and team chemistry and whatnot. It takes away from the team dynamics. So, where's the middle ground? What can they do to appeal to the gamers who like the fast gameplay, who like to be individuals when it comes to these types of games? But also, pro players don't have to throw their knowledge of competitive Halo out the window. They go for power positions, they go for the power weapons, and all that. I feel like that would be the best thing that they can do going forward. But anyway, it's a whole other discussion that I'm sure we can go on for about
I know, right?
Forever. But Halo 3 arrived back in the scene. So Halo 5 was finished. People got tired of it. Halo 3 is back. What do you think playing Halo 3 now? I know it's MCC. Maybe it's not like, true Halo 3, but how does it feel playing H3 again in 2019?
It was refreshing for a while. I'd say like a good few months, but I still think like the core game I still really enjoy. But I feel like 343 need to introduce like an XP system. I got a 50 when MCC first came out, and then what do you do after you got a 50? I need a kind of an XP system at least like on 360. But playing the game's really fun. I still really do love Halo 3 is always going to be my favorite game of all time, like ever. and I do enjoy it. But I think we all just need something new right now. I think we all just want Infinite to come out tomorrow, you know. So that's what I'm looking forward to the next. But next, I'd love to play Reach. You know, like we went back to Halo 3 competitively. I'd love them to do Reach tournaments competitively. I just don't know if they'd have the same kind of player base as they would for Halo 3, because they're kind of stuck in two positions at the moment. Like there's a lot of Halo 5 kids. I hate Halo 3. I'm never going to go to a Halo 3 event.
Sure.
I didn't play it 12 years ago, but I think maybe the Halo 3 players will play Reach as well. But I feel like you're more likely to find the Halo 5 players come back and play Reach because, you know, hit scan, just pure alone because of the hit scan, like faster movement, like you can crouch in your strafe kind of thing, like on Reach. So I do love Halo 3 and I'm enjoying playing it, but I need something fresh. Like I'd happily play Reach again until Infinite comes out. But I think we all just need Infinite, man. We're all just itching for that, like so badly right now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I do think that Reach, you're right, it sits in a decent middle ground where, like, somebody who's, like, fundamentally an H5 kid who doesn't want to go back to Halo 3 and figure out projectile aim and have no abilities, whatever it is, Halo Reach does kind of hybridize that a little bit. They took out the sprint and the bloom if you're playing hardcore, but you do get hit scan. There is actually still spring jumping, I heard, but it's actually very difficult to do. Yeah, I heard you can spring jump in the game, but it's, like, the hardest spring jump ever or something. But I'll tackle it when I get there. Yeah. But as far as just it coming out to MCC PC, it still hits a much larger audience. Like Summit, I assume, plays it first day and thousands of people are watching. What do you think, though, about this whole PC, you know, mouse and keyboard versus console? I know back in the day, Halo Online came up briefly, and apparently you loved it. I have an old tweet from you. Tony, if you have the tweet, you can try to throw it up. But you played it for a couple hours. The most fun you had in a game in years playing Halo Online.
It's funny you mention Halo Online because recently at this Face It event, I spoke to, there's an American team that came over and there's a guy on the team called Costa, and he actually helped develop Halo Online and he worked on it, right?
Nice.
So he was telling me about the battle rifle on Halo Online. So I thought they changed it from like a hit scan to a projectile weapon. So he was telling me that the decimal, the numbers, he was telling me that the BR was running at like, I think it was like a number just 400, right? And then he changed the battle rifle. They changed the battle rifle to, I think it was like 3,000 or 4,000. So then it was almost like hit scan, right?
Interesting.
Because they upped the value on the BR. I don't know what specific was. And then when they did that on Halo Online, you could shoot across the map and like all your shots would connect. And it wasn't hit scan. It was still like, was it a projectile like lead your shots thing? But that's what I mean, man. Like all they did was change a few digits. Why on MCC? Why would, like I told you about my struggle to shoot the BR across map. Why are they not like tuning the weapons and stuff? Like Halo 5, like why are they not tuning the weapons enough? Like if they've if they fixed the issue on Halo Online, like they were telling me that Australians were playing the game and they were 4-shotting people across the map, man, like on like 300 ping. But like you can't do that on like MCC because they're not changing like the core values of like the weapons and tuning them and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty interesting that you mentioned that, man. But I just had like a lot of fun more on that purely because like connection wise, it was playable. Like Halo was playable, like no matter where in the world I am. And it was just nice, you know, and like the aiming is fluid. You know, I come from like the whole like heavy aim kind of crap. And then I played that. I was like, wow, it's like butter. Like,
you're playing on a controller too.
Yeah, I was playing on controller. So I was playing against people with mouse and keyboards, like firing them and stuff, and it was just it was fun. And yeah, for real.
Yeah, and you're right. So like they can do it in this Halo Online. They change a couple digits or whatever. Like I don't know how difficult these processes are, but they make it so that even when your ping is crazy, you're still hitting 4 shots. But meanwhile, in MCC, we can't do that at all. I don't know if it's because it was a game that was originally built on a totally different engine or whatever for Xbox 360. Maybe it's I don't.
I think it's a 60 FPS thing. I think it's 60 FPS. Changed something. It did a lot to it, I think.
Right. Yeah, maybe that transition as well. But yeah, so really what you're looking for is just a game that's consistent connection-wise, where you can, you know, all the shots that you should be hitting, you're getting, and that just kind of, you know, is fluid in that way. Because Halo Online gave you that experience, and all of a sudden it feels like fresh again. So I don't know. if they can make that work with reach. As far as mouse versus keyboard and controller, you don't see yourself moving over to mouse and keyboard, like you're pretty comfortable on controller. What are you going to do there?
I mean, it's a bit of a strange one because I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if it's going to be like Call of Duty, where Call of Duty's on PC, but PlayStation are against. I think Call of Duty are going to do cross-platform in the next game, like Xbox to PlayStation. But like PC on Call of Duty is still its own thing. Yeah. So I'm not really sure how that's going to work because, if somebody's playing on keyboard and mouse, like they're just running around with a sniper rifle, no-scoping everyone, right? Like obviously you can't take away core knowledge of the game and like being intelligent and making a good play and stuff. But like I think MCC coming on PC is going to be amazing. I think it's going to be brilliant. But I don't know. I don't think they can do it cross-platform. And I do think that even if they did, I think competitive would always still be played on the Xbox because, Halo, Microsoft's baby kind of thing. I just don't think it would be fair on the controller players, as to say, if it was cross-platform. But then it's like you're dividing a community again.
Yeah.
So it's like a double-edged sword, man. Like how do you tackle this kind of thing?
I think cross-platform play needs to be available. This is what I've been talking about with on previous episodes, is just have it on a toggle. Like if you want to play with PC players, you can if you want to, because that's the biggest thing, is just giving people the
playing
option.
with your friends and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So more people can play, more people get excited about it. As far as competitive, I have no freaking idea, man. Like I think you're right. That if somebody picks up a sniper rifle, then the skill gap between mouse and keyboard and controller can definitely become apparent with something like a sniper. Maybe on BR, maybe controller players can really kind of hold their own because you take shield damage, you get first shot in the fight, whatever it is. People have good shots at the BR. But sniping, man, some crazy no scopes that you could just pinpoint from wherever.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Just point and click. It's not as easy as point and click, but you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Now, kind of winding it back to Face It, before we get into a quick Q&A, guys. By the way, whoever's watching, you guys have any questions for Respectful, whether it's about Halo Reach or Infinite or anything that we've been talking about so far, feel free to start dropping that in the chat. But let's cover Face It before we move on to that, because you just came off the event. You got second place. You were teaming up with Snipe Drone, Mose, and Holler. Tell me a bit about the prep work for this. Like, how much time did you guys prepare together? You said back in like Halo Classic, you didn't really have a team, and then you just had an entirely different team back at DreamHack, and then you have this now. So is this like a much better transition for you? You had more practice with these guys versus in the past?
Well, for the last Halo 3 event before Face It, I was teaming with Jimbo and Flux, who obviously you saw was, and Riots, who obviously you saw was on the, that they placed fourth at this recent Face It event, but I teamed with Mose and Snipe Drone in Halo 5, and Mose is like a brother to me. We've been like the day one duo, since that photo that you showed of me at the start with my crazy hair. Like I've been teaming with Mose like since way before then. I'm talking like Halo 4. We've always been together, and I thought like this guy's my friend. We I'm just gonna go back with these guys. And Hollers, we know that he was like a really good core Halo 3 player. Okay. And like we're all really good friends with him, so I was just like, yo, like guys, like I'm gonna join this team. I said it to my old team kind of thing, and we're just been scrimming every day, especially towards the end. I just even like playing matchmaking by ourselves just to keep warm. We was just like crazy things like that, man. Like even playing like the default Halo 3 players just to like have fun and stuff. Like we just sit in Discord together chilling, and I really do love this team, man. Like the guys, like the energy. And that's the best thing for me, man. Like more than the practice, more than like this, that, and the other. It's about getting on with your teammates. If you and your teammates like love each other, man, like you're just gonna have success. Like, and I think that's like a real thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. When it comes to scrims, though, who do you get to scrim against? Because it's probably hard to play. Like you can't just play talks on the regular or whatever.
So there was only two notable teams in Europe to play against, which was Aspire and Mesa. Mesa obviously like Havoc, Snaky Flames, and then Aspire like Jimbo, Flux, like 2 Foxy. So it would be really tough, So say if there's like 3 notable teams, including ourselves. So one of the days, both them teams will be playing each other. So it's like, who do you even play against,
Yeah.
Like, you don't even get a scrim that day, or if you do, you have to play like a team that's, you know, like maybe not like on the same level as you. And that's why, like I said before with the team house thing, when I went to Atlanta straight ripping, it's just so fresh and just so good to be playing against the best in the game, man, because the only way you're gonna be the best in the game is you play against the best, man. You know what I mean? It's like fighters and stuff, like they're trainers, they need to be like crazy themselves, man.
Absolutely.
Like, it's so, yeah, but that's what we've been doing, you know, just scrimming. We played in the UGC Cups too. That's really hard for us, man, because, you know, it comes to it. So we'll play against like a top, I don't know, like a top 4 American team, and if they're higher seed than us, they host 3 games, we host 2 games, right? So the majority of the time, they'll host, win, we'll host, win, they'll host, win, we'll host, win, you know.
Right.
And it's just the way it is, because like when you like at that point where you guys are like good as each other or almost as good as each other, like just like the connection factors. So it just depends like who's higher seed. Like if we was like first seed, like in these like UGC qualifiers, we could honestly just like BS everybody and just like win every qualifier of host alone. Because you know Mo's like my teammate, he lives in like Malta, like it's like below Italy, like just above North Africa. Like we could make him host, and then it's just so unfair. But then it's like the American teams play us in the cups, and then as soon as they see the Europeans, they'll make like the kid in California, the kid in Seattle, the kid in Texas host, you know, rather than the kid in New York. What, like, you know what I mean? Like, so they'll always put like a West Coast guy on host. So we've been, you know, playing in the UGC Cups when we can. I don't think we'll be playing in this latest one though, because Snipe Drone's actually visiting Mo's on vacation. Like he went yesterday. So we're taking like a few days break kind of thing, but that's what we've been mainly doing to practice for the events.
Right. So, but you are, of course, you're playing in all the UGC Cups, so you will be attending Atlantic City. That's like the next big thing for you. Right?
Yeah, we should definitely be attending.
Awesome.
Fingers crossed, as long as everything goes all right, we should be.
Yeah, I'd say as far as the European squads go, you're in the best position, though. I mean, you did an amazing job at the last event. Even just going into grand finals. Now, of course, I said earlier, talks was just kind of like running over everybody one at a time. When we finally got to grand finals, it wasn't quite that way, though. They had beat you in the winners finals. You guys came back, and there was a lot more contention. It was a lot closer. What do you think kind of put you in that position? What do you think made it closer towards the end there?
Well, I just think that we all believed we could win, right? We all believed in each other, and we all want the same thing, and we wanted to win. And you know, it was frustrating because we lost Heretic 5-4.
Yeah.
Like, I got an unfortunate
You started so strong, too.
I got an unfortunate car spawn and just got melted instantly. And then my teammates were in like a 3v4 scenario. And then we won the next game. And then we lost the next game. And then pit flag, man. I don't know if you saw it on stream or anything. I don't know if it was on stream. But it was 2-2 tied up on pit flag. And Hollers was running the flag.
Insane play that he made to stop the win, though.
He was running the flag too, right?
Yeah.
And somebody like signed in on the account that he was playing on before on the other Xbox. So it come up on his screen saying like this is like this controller account what profiles on another Xbox, and then he had to like cancel it, and it took like he was like standing still while he was running the flag 2-2.
Oh no.
For like 5 seconds. So we had the flag out and we was running it, and they were dead. And obviously the controller, like somebody tried to sign in on the other station, and it was like stood still for 5-6 seconds. They killed him and then got map control. And I believe we was going to win this game too. Like it was just frustrating.
What do you do in that scenario? Like what?
You can't do it. You can't say anything, man, because it's all hypothetical situations. They could be like, yeah, bro, we were going to stop the flag, or we could have been like, no, we 100% guarantee we was going to cap it. Like you can't, like how can you like?
It's like Spartan situation with the controller too, where it just.
Yeah, it's like, what do you do about it? Like, I've been in, like, bad situations like that myself. I've had controllers break on me at events and stuff, and it's just like, you just nothing you can do about it. It's just, you're unlucky, and it sucks, but it's just the way it is sometimes, you know?
Yeah. But you definitely kind of chipped away at them, though. You did take a couple games. The games that you didn't take were very close. So does that put you in a position where you feel confident going into Atlantic City? You guys keep practicing and try it out again in Atlantic. Of course, you're going to be facing a different version of Tox. This is probably the best version of Tox you can come up against, so it might be even more difficult.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be harder, man, but then we need to just be the best versions of ourselves as well.
Yeah.
It's just a few things we need to work on, man. Like obviously the onslaught, we need to get better at that. Like we was neck and neck on construct the whole time until we let him get like a free overshield and rockets, and then they just got away with it. So we're always there in the games, man, and we can win it. It's just little minuscule, minute things that we just needed to work on.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that was Face It though, so you guys managed to get through that one. The next one on the horizon is Atlantic City, and then of course following that, what we're all waiting for is Halo Infinite. Just before we kind of close out here, when it comes to Halo Infinite, are there any kind of like top 3 things you would love to see in the game? What do you think would be something you'd really be looking forward to for the next title?
I would want in the next game, I would want a full roadmap, a full esports related roadmap.
Right.
Like the next year, every year I'd want a new roadmap for the whole year. I think the settings need to be good off the get-go, and there needs to be some sort of incentive to play. You know, Halo 3 had the XP system. You got your level 50. Once you got your level 50, you could get a 5-star general on your 50. It keeps people playing. It keeps people engaged in the game. So it's simple stuff like that, like simple stuff that we had before, and that the formula was changed for whatever reason. But the roadmap is definitely a big thing as well, man, because, you know, a lot of people do this as like the livelihood. A lot of people play games for a living, and how are you supposed to know what you're going to do with your own life? Like, do you need to go out and get a job? Or are you just going to live off salary and prize money and stuff? But how are you supposed to know when it's taking 4 months to announce one event? You know, people need to know what's happening. Like they need a plan before it all starts, man, because Halo's in a really weird, it's like purgatory right now. It's in a really weird state, man. And it makes me sad because, you know, the start of Halo 5, 2015, 2016,
it was pretty incredible.
It was incredible, man. The settings wasn't the best and stuff, but esports related $1 million, what was it, the first Worlds was $2 million tournaments. Even in EU, we had our own pro league, we had our own private pro league tournaments. And the money was just crazy, man. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I can't believe it. And then obviously the prize pool started dwindling, people lost interest in the game, and then they wasn't coming out with 343 wasn't announcing a lot of stuff, and I know Tashi, for instance, he's the hardest working guy in the for definite, man. But I don't think it's so much him, but maybe there's other people there. But they just need to kind of just get the crap together, man, and it's just for everybody's sake, honestly, for theirs and the players. It's just that's it, man. They just need to be open and honest and, you know, respond. The devs, especially the devs, like I told you, with weapon tuning and changing, keeping stuff fresh. That's it, man. Just be open and honest and be active, man. Be very active. Your game devs should be active from the release of the game until the release of the new game. It shouldn't just be oh, let's release this, throw a few DLC armors and maps out, and then disappear for 3 years, man, 4 years, you know? Stay active, man, because that's what you got to do to keep engaging with your audience.
Yeah, I know. I like those responses. I think all those are perfect, really, because it's not. I feel like a lot of people are so fixated on, oh, if it has sprint or doesn't have sprint, that's going to make or break the game. That's really not. That's not the point. In the end of the day, it's have your esports roadmap. Where are we gonna? What are we expecting as far as everything in esports? And you know, how can people get involved and incentivizing that people play. The ranking system, I think, is a huge thing. Having a system that will get people hooked and want to come back to it and feel rewarded for the time and energy that they're putting into the game. And yes, something akin to what we saw, let's say, in Halo 3. And then also competitive settings, which is paramount. Having good settings from the beginning, or at least being in a position to very quickly switch settings and listen and take feedback and you know, give us the settings that we're looking for so that we can have the best competitive experience. And I think if they do that, then they're in a great position going forward. As far as where they stand now, what do you think? You've got Ninja on Mixer, you've got the trailer, which is back to classic as far as the look of it. Do you think everything, the groundwork, is all set and there's a lot of potential for it?
What's that? Sorry, I'm trying to What do you mean is streaming in a platform? Or?
Sorry, so I'm saying basically, yeah, that was a really broad question. But as far as what they've kind of created to kind of get people ready for the next game, like this, like, do you think they're in a good position, I guess, to really succeed in the future right now, based off of what we've seen so far? Like, we've seen the trailer, which is kind of like a good jump back, and we also have interesting things outside of that, like the partnership with Ninja and Mixer, which shows that, like, oh, maybe they'll bring Ninja into Halo, and maybe that's going to bring the audience too. Like, do you feel like there's a lot of potential for this game if they
I do
hit the stride?
I mean, I know that they've completely like got rid of the old engine and they're building this game up from the ground up, like completely fresh. Like Halo 3, like Halo 5 still had like stuff in the engine that was used in Halo 1, you know. So I am looking forward to it. I am very hopeful, you know. This game's been in development for 4 years now, man. Almost 5 years. So if this isn't the greatest game ever made, like, I don't know what's up, but I am looking forward to the future. I think, you know, they know, like 343, even Microsoft, like, they know themselves that if they mess this up, this is their final straw. Like, this is it, man. So they can. Yeah, I know, man, but like, I think they know. So I am looking forward to it. You know, the trailer looked good, but I just want to see some gameplay, man. Honestly, just throw a beta out. You know, give some gameplay to the fans. Just that's what's going to keep their interest, man. We had a trailer at E3 last year. We had a trailer at E3 this year. How many trailers can we have? Man?
You're totally right. Yeah.
Like, just give me some gameplay. Give the people some gameplay. Give them what they want, man.
Gameplay, give us flighting, stuff that we can actually get our hands on and get excited about. I 100% agree. I think Microsoft finally recognizes it, though. I think the position that the industry is in today versus where it's been in the past, I think there's no way to not see the potential here. You know what I mean? Like, when you look at Fortnite, you see Booga winning like $3 million, and he's like 16 years old, and just hundreds of thousands of millions of people playing these games. There's a huge opportunity here, and they know it, and they better freaking capitalize and do it well. We got a couple questions for chat as well, and we'll see what these guys are saying. Question for Respectful from WCPBYRD. I don't know how to say that, but welcome. How do you feel about the creative direction, I think, for Infinite leaving 343 Industry? Oh, the creative director for Halo Infinite leaving 343 Industry this far into development. Have you heard of that?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
I'm not aware of that either.
That's pretty crazy, man. Like that. I mean, what terms did he leave on, though? That's what. Was it on bad terms? Did he just get a better offer or position at a different company, or was there some sort of internal conflict? Because if there was an internal conflict, then that definitely would be interesting. But I can't really speak on that question because I don't know the details itself. But no, that could either be something minute, or it could be something really crazy. To be honest.
I'm looking at it right. Tim Longo, who was serving as the creative director behind Halo Infinite during production, has departed 343 Industries this past week.
Do I have any info on why?
He used to be part of a bigger changing of leadership within the team, but no reason was given as to why it was done or why Longo was departing. We'll see if he lands somewhere else after this. I guess we have to wait for some sort of an update. This happens. This kind of shifting around happens all the time. It could be totally fine, or maybe there was some sort of internal disagreement or something.
We don't know.
All you can do is really speculate. Okay. Onyx_JC says, how does Respectful keep his teeth so white? You got to be doing something along with the brushing.
I mean, everybody saes, man, British people have got bad teeth, so every time I come over to NA, I just have to prove them wrong with my smile.
Yeah, you don't do anything about it?
I have an electric toothbrush. I brush my teeth twice a day. That's all I can say, man. Use mouthwash as well, floss, just a regular, bro.
Yeah, man, flossing is one thing I don't think enough people do, because I think I skip on that too many times sometimes.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, I don't do it every day, but I see him lying about. I'm like, I'll have a floss today, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, there you go, guys. Electric toothbrush twice a day, flossing. Maybe what you eat. Maybe you eat some good foods too. Are you pretty clean with the food?
Lately I've been really good. Yeah. I've changed up my diet a lot. The past few months, even like the past like couple of years and stuff. Like I used to be like a really picky eater, really fussy. I didn't used to eat like vegetables and stuff like that. Now I'm just like upset. Like I'm not obsessed, but like I eat a lot of veg and I've been eating clean and stuff. And I should be starting back at the gym soon as well, which is definitely needed.
Making some gains. I'd like to see it, man.
100%.
It's happening with some of these. Like, have you seen Trippy? I was talking about how he lost all this weight recently. He's looking good. I think Snakebite went through a bit of a transformation. Anyway, Yu-Gi-Oh! Tools says, would you rather have one big tournament in the EU or 5 to 6 smaller tournaments, like 10 to 25K throughout the year?
Oh, wait, 10 to 25K through the year.
Throughout the year.
Is that per tournament or all the tournaments combined?
No, I'm assuming like each tournament is like a 10 to 25K prize pool.
I think I'd rather have a lot of mini tournaments just purely because I enjoy competing. You know, I don't want to spend all the time just to go to one tournament, and you know, this one tournament, it might not even work out. You know, it might not place as well as you want, and then what do you do then? Like you kind of screwed sort of thing. So I definitely, because I just love competing, even not because of the money, just because I love competing and the drive and stuff, I'd definitely love to have a lot more tournaments, smaller tournaments.
Yeah, there was a big point raised about that in a previous episode as well, was they had this massive prize pool for the first Halo 5 tournament. It was like unprecedented in console esports. It was like 2.5 million or something ridiculous, which is great. Like, it looks great. But like one tournament, 2.5, when like you could have had maybe a couple 500Ks or something, or 250s, you know? I just think if they split their resources in a way that, especially they could have helped benefit the European side too, and give them more events and competition.
Yeah, I didn't make it to that first Worlds tournament either.
Oh no!
I was unfortunate on qualifying, which was crazy because I almost quit after not qualifying for that Worlds tournament. But you know, I thought I'm just gonna keep at it, and then I got all my success after that. So I'm glad I kept going, man.
Glad you stuck with it. Well, hopefully you keep sticking with it, man. I know you've got Atlantic City. Do you see yourself ever moving to other games? Is Halo kind of the one love for you?
Halo is the one love for me, but if there was like another game, it was kind of like a hybrid sort of game, like FPS, like Halo.
Splitgate, as some people are talking about. Or whatever.
Yeah, I really enjoyed playing Splitgate. I really did, man.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like Splitgate at the highest level of competitive play, I feel like there'll be like setups that you won't be able to physically break. I feel like it'll get to the point where people are so good that they'll have like the ports on these certain positions watching these angles that you can't physically break their angles because you know what I mean? Because it's just, I think that's what's going to happen. Like, it'll be impossible to actually like break a setup, like if that game goes on for like so long, because people will like learn everything about it.
Yeah.
Which is why developers need to keep it fresh, like we're saying.
Yeah.
But like, I did want to play Destiny, like Destiny 1. I thought it was going to be a big competitive, crazy game, because that was obviously when before MCC came out, and MCC was just like a load of garbage when it first released. So I was really hopeful for Destiny, man, but it didn't turn out to what it should have been, you know.
Agreed.
Well, I had potential for that game, but you know, if like a Shadowrun, have you played Shadowrun?
I haven't. I've heard of it though.
You should look at that game, because that game is crazy. If a game like Shadowrun and like an FPS or a third-person shooter sort of game comes out, like strategy-based, like learning-based game.
Tony says yes, Shadowrun.
Yeah, that's Shadowrun. Shadowrun was before its time.
It was on the Xbox original.
360.
Or 360. Oh, it was on the 360. Okay.
Yeah, it was way before its time, that game.
Okay.
So if a game like that came out again and Halo was kind of still in this like Limbus hiatus sort of mode, I would definitely like broaden my horizons, man.
You want it to be Arena specifically, right? Because like I assume, what did you think of Apex? Like, the reason you might not be playing that, is it the Arena aspect, or you don't like the Battle Royale?
I don't know, like, I just get bored on Battle Royale games, man.
Yeah.
What I've noticed about Battle Royale games is a lot of the time you just kind of, especially like PUBG, half of the game you just spend looting
farming and stuff.
And just running around, just picking up items and farming and
Yeah.
playing the circle, and there's not a lot of head-to-head confrontation. It's like Fortnite now. That game takes so much skill at like the
Yes.
highest level to be able to build and stuff, but it's just people building like 4x4 boxes. Like if you've seen like the end games of like professional Fortnite,
Oh, it's ridiculous.
it's just people building crazy stuff on the floor, crazy things.
Yeah.
In the circle, like there'll
To
be like a
avoid
tiny
direct fights.
it'll be like a tiny circle, right? Like I'm talking like tiny circle left, and it'll be like 60, 70 people alive in this circle, and you'd be like,
Yeah.
what on earth? So I like personally, I don't enjoy battle royale games, but I feel like if they did bring it to Halo, that Halo would suit a battle royale, like
It
for
would
sure,
work.
man. Because
Yeah.
just like this, the shield like regens and like the weapons, I think Halo would probably be. I just got a bias, but I feel like in its core, it would probably be the best battle royale game.
I think it could be pretty amazing in Battle Royale. I can't see them not taking cues from Battle Royale and incorporating it into some sort of Halo-specific mode, like they give it a Halo spin. Yeah. Last question before we go here. MattyRums says, respectful and Mo's 1v1, who wins?
I mean, of course it's me, bro. Like, it's not even close. Like, Moses.
Shots fired.
Any Halo, man. Any Halo. Come on.
Any Halo.
On LAN, online, his host, my host, bro. Don't matter. Just, you gotta put your money on me, man. Just believe that.
I like the confidence. You got to have it, man. It can't be any other way. Yeah, but that's everything. Thank you so much for joining me. I know I said until like 6:30 CT. We went a little.
No, that's fine.
I had a ton of fun chatting though, dude. Yeah.
You too, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, no problem, dude. So I guess next up you got Atlantic City. I'll see you there, and I'll be rooting for you, man.
Goes well.
Yeah, hopefully I'll see you there. But yeah, until then, I guess good luck on the grind. You've got Halo Reach coming up. We've got Infinite, so I'm expecting big things from you. You said Halo is the one love, so hopefully you're not going anywhere. We got some more coming from you in the near future.
For real, man. I appreciate it, man. I hope you take care of yourself, and thanks for having me once again.
No problem. Have a nice day.
You too.
All right, guys, that ends our show today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I know a lot of you guys were waiting around for our Grassroots skin giveaways. Let's first announce that, ! Grassroots in the chat. We have one winner who's going to win the BR skin and nameplate. I'm going to find out who it is in my Discord. Just 1 second, guys. Yu-Gi-Oh! Tools gets it. Garrett, there you go. Congratulations. You win your BR skin and nameplate. That is our Grassroots giveaway for the night, guys. If you didn't get a win on that, you can always tune in next week. We'll be giving away another skin every single week. But we also have another special giveaway announcement as well, and this is about the hotel sweepstakes. We have our winner for 2 hotel rooms. His entire hotel expenses paid for the event. Who is it, Tony? Who do we got? There he is, Jacob Banda. So Jacob Banda purchased a team pass, everybody under his team pass. So I guess Jacob has the free reign to do what he likes with that, but he gets 2 hotel rooms for a nice stay over in Atlantic City, which is pretty exciting. We got this event coming up September 6th to 8th, so only a couple weeks from now, we're all going to be enjoying Halo at UGC Halo Classic 2. So congratulations. Enjoy your hotel sweepstakes. We got one more qualifier coming up very soon as well, so you guys can see that last qualifier, and then we're jumping into the event, the next big event, Halo Classic 2. That's going to close the show for today. I can't find the words. We got merch one more time before we head out. Let's check out the merch here. You've got your t-shirts, sweaters, anything you buy here not only supports the show, it supports me as well, and I would highly appreciate that. And now I will get out of here. Remember, guys, if you missed this, you can tune in on YouTube. It'll go up on YouTube. You can watch the past broadcast. You can listen to it on Spotify, on iTunes. It's everywhere. Hopefully you guys can check those out, and I'll see you again next week.